Crafton.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you that we can call you Father and come to you and talk to you and bring our petitions before you. We ask you to bless the deliberations of this body and help us to make the decisions that you would have us make and help this city follow the path that you've laid out for us. We know that there are families hurting, and we know that you're the great physician. We ask you to put your healing touch on each of those families that we know need your help, and also the unspoken requests. We ask you to bless this country, ask you to bless this council, the state legislature, all the congressional members, and our president. Give each of those bodies and people the wisdom to help this great nation move forward. We ask you to bless every family that's represented here, and thank you that we live in such a great nation. In your Son, Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman, that was wonderful.
Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for adoption of the minutes from July 20th? Second, is there any objection to their approval? The minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
No, ma'am, there are not.
Thank you. On your desk is a proposed amendment to Rule number 31. This is being distributed tonight, and we will consider it at our next meeting. At this time, if you are a candidate, I would ask you to come to the lectern and line up as we go through the council members and ask them to state their name and what they're running for. Councilman Gatto.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I'm Jim Gatto. I'm candidate for House District 60, Tennessee House of Representatives.
Councilman Dominy.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm Dwayne Dominy, candidate for District 59. It's Tusculum and the Antioch community. Appreciate your vote.
Councilman Crafton.
Thank you. I'm Eric Crafton. I'm running for Juvenile Court Clerk, Countywide Office, and I'd appreciate your vote Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Coleman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm Sam Coleman. I'm running for the State Legislature, District 60. Appreciate everything we can do for each other. Thanks.
Did I get all the council members? Senator Henry.
Madam President, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to speak to you. The state of Tennessee is wisely divided the legislative authority between you all and us. We work together. We have to work together. We do work together. I've enjoyed working with you for several years now. I'd like to work with you for 4 more. I request your support in the primary this coming Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are others, please come to the lectern.
Good evening. My name is Ronnie Osborne, and I am running for the school board in District 9, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Daniel Lewis, and I'm running for Tennessee State House District 53.
Vice Mayor, members of the council, I'm David Smith, candidate for Juvenile Court Clerk this Thursday, and I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, members of council, Gary Moore, running for State House District 50, and I appreciate your vote as well this Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, council members, my name is Matt Kenigson. I am running for State House District 56, and I would greatly appreciate your vote and your support. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now at the point on our agenda for proclamations and resolutions. Councilman Crafton.
That's Dr. Hargis, Principal, Bellevue Middle School, to come forward. And we're going to do this a little different. The 3 Bellevue council members are going to read parts of this, and then Charlie can make some remarks, and then Dr. Hargis. Whereas giving one's time, talents, and resources to help others in times of crisis has been an integral part of our American heritage. And during Nashville's recent flooding catastrophe, we continued this great tradition of people coming together to help during our community's most critical hour. And whereas thousands of individuals offered their help with various endeavors without expectation of any personal remuneration or recognition other than the satisfaction of knowing they helped others during their time of need. And whereas the untiring work and dedication of volunteers like Dr. Kelly Hargis, Alicia Reese, Dr. Sherry Weiner, Andy Ross, Todd Craig, Sandy Irwin, John Duckworth, Leva Duckworth, Shelley Wynn, Emily Wynn, Tanya Robbins, and Kim Gert, while certainly appreciated, too often goes without adequate recognition of the valuable contribution that is made.
Whereas these individuals helped open a makeshift disaster shelter at Bellevue Middle School on the Sunday evening of the flood that ultimately provided food, clothing, medical care, and shelter to over 300 misplaced individuals and families, and served as a rallying point that people used to drop off food, water, and clothing that was distributed through the Bellevue community. And whereas West Nashville's Gordon Jewish Community Center was one of the first institutions in Nashville to offer its facilities to be used as an official shelter, where literally thousands of flood victims were provided food, lodging, and medical care. And whereas Bellevue Church of Christ, Bellevue Baptist, Bellevue United Methodist, and Cross Point churches all provided shelter, food, and volunteers to help victims and restore the community, the Bellevue community. And
whereas volunteers are exemplified by individuals such as these, and although the efforts of many are recognized and honored here, our observation is not intended to ignore the efforts of those who worked without recognition, acclaim, or accolades. Our recognition of these people's specific efforts extends beyond them and thus is also symbolic, therefore, of the efforts of the countless thousands who gave and continue to give tirelessly of themselves in the aftermath of the recent flood. And whereas the spirit of volunteerism, remarkable compassion, and self-sacrifice is a tribute to Nashville and has helped ensure the recovery and revitalization of their community, it is fitting that the Metro Council honor all of these individuals.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Since I am the wonderful tagged representative for the group, I would love to take all of the credit for this. But unfortunately, I cannot, and you know that I can't. This was not the effort of an individual, but really the effort of a collective group of people, wonderful Nashvillians, people from Bellevue who just simply came together, as many people did across the city. And I am truly honored, humbled, and proud to be a part of that group who truly combined compassion with action and got a lot of things done for a lot of people. And we continue that endeavor as we move forward from today on. So thank you so much.
Councilman Holland?
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. From behind a hot dog stand in a garden not far from 5 Points, for 2 weeks, Catherine McTammany and Alan Murdoch led thousands of volunteers to display the importance of human touch on the lives of East Nashville flood victims. Catherine contributed her spirit, time, and talents. Alan contributed that too, but also his place of business, our gathering place each morning and command center all day. Vice Mayor, members of council, in conjunction with my absent colleague, Mike Jamison, it is indeed my pleasure to sponsor this resolution for Catherine and Alan in honor of their service to our city. For indeed, they are my heroes.
Just want to say really quick that when we found out that we were going to be honored this way, we were shocked, first of all. But the first thing we did was try to figure out which of the 1,000 volunteers that came into our garden center to bring with us today. And just because they are the heart of what happened in our community. It's hard to put it into words, just the love and the community that happened in East Nashville. In the 12 days that we acted as a volunteer center instead of a garden center, Art House volunteers responded to over 300 homes in East Nashville. Over 1,500 volunteers came through our little garden center. They signed in, grabbed a t-shirt, and headed out to strangers' houses to haul furniture, demolish drywall, hold hands, hold neighbors, laugh and cry. We did a lot of laughing, and we did a lot of crying. We did a lot of work, and we know the work is far from over. We learned a lot in those 12 days. We learned about natural springs and mold remediation. We learned the difference between black, white, and green mold. We learned how to salvage family photos and how to mix bleach. We learned that one person can actually talk on 4 telephones at once. We were reminded that most people, most of the time, will do the right thing if you just give them the opportunity to do it. Most importantly, we learned that a city is only as strong as its neighborhoods, and that East Nashville, despite the ribbing we get as being Nashville's lovable outcast, is one heck of a neighborhood. We asked a lot of our neighbors in their time, in their financial resources, in their social networks, in their special skills, and no matter what we asked, whether it was for more volunteers or for someone who could provide Filipino translation, our neighbors provided it. So on behalf of Catherine and myself, and more importantly, on behalf of over 1,500 volunteers who served in East Nashville, not including volunteers who said, I can't help physically, but I can help financially. I can bake cookies to raise money, to buy gloves, to buy masks, whatever we need. We are thankful in a very big way to Councilman Holland for both the honor and for being one of our most steadfast volunteers. Jamie was there with us on the ground every day of Art House operations, leading a volunteer team, demoing houses, and connecting us with Metro services. If something couldn't get done, Jamie found a way to get it done for us. He represented his constituents and this council honorably, and he deserves our thanks. And finally, we know that the work is not over. East Nashville has survived 2 major natural disasters in the last 11 years. Whether it's wind or rain, East Nashville's response reflects the strong network of an old-fashioned neighborhood where people know each other by name, where we share a kinship in a community. We look forward to building on the strength of that neighborhood model to prepare whatever comes next. With that in mind, we are pleased to announce the next 100 years. It's a collaboration with Rediscover East, which will focus on preparing neighborhoods for crises of all kinds. There are big disasters like floods and tornadoes that happen every so often, and there are little ones that happen all the time. But whatever the size of the crisis, there's never going to be anyone closer to respond than the guy next door. We're thankful for our neighborhood and our neighbors, and the neighbors all over Nashville who did the same thing for the people who live next door to them. Thank you.
I have been asked to make one more announcement. Councilman Matthews is celebrating a birthday today. And we're not going to sing, and I'm sure you're extremely appreciative of that right now. We'll move on to elections and confirmations. Councilmember Page.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Rules and Confirmation Committee considered 4 appointments to various boards and commissions. The first, the Electric Power Board, we considered the appointment of Ms. Nikki Smith Bartley. We voted in favor, 7-4, 0 against. I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Next, we considered the reappointment of Ms. Ann Butterworth to the Employee Benefit Board. We voted in favor, 7-4, 0 against. I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Amy Atkinson is deferred until September 7th. Okay. Next, we considered the reappointment of Mary Griffin to the Transportation's Licensing. We voted in favor, 7-4, 0 against. I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Nikki Smith Bartley, Ann Butterworth, Mary Griffith. On behalf of the Metro Council, thank you for your willingness to serve our city. First on our agenda, we have resolutions. The first one is RS 2010-1318, provides amendments to the charter and sets forth a brief description of each amendment to be placed on the ballot. Councilman Ryman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilman Jernigan.
Charter revision voted to defer indefinitely, 4 in favor, 0 against, 2 non-voting.
Councilman.
I move for indefinite deferral.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of indefinite deferral, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No.
I got your back.
Motion passes. Next is RS 2010-1320. Approves the waiver of pension benefit overpayments made to Lisa Baguette. Councilman Stein.
Committee reports.
Councilman Claiborne.
Personnel Committee voted 4-0 against.
Councilman Stein.
Budget voted to approve 10-4, none against. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1321 accepts an annual state grant to the Juvenile Court for case management and family support services to children at risk of state custody and their families. Councilman Stein.
Budget approved 10-4, none against. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1322 approves an amendment to a state grant to the Nashville Career Advancement Center to make training and recruitment resources available to Bedrug. Councilman Stein.
Committee reports.
Councilman Claiborne.
Personnel Committee voted 4-0 against.
Councilman Stein.
Budget approved 10-4, none against. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1323 approves an amendment to a federal grant to the Nashville Career Advancement Center to provide training to workers at 2 companies. Councilman Stein.
Committee report.
Councilman Claiborne.
Personnel Committee voted 4 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Stein.
Budget voted to approve 10-4, none against. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1324 approves a state grant to the Nashville Career Advancement Center to make resources available to Asura. Councilman Stein.
Committee report.
Councilman Claiborne.
Personnel voted 4 in favor, 0 against.
Councilman Stein.
Budget vote approved, 10-4, none against. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1325 approves a grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Social Services Commission to provide personal care services and homemaker services. Councilman Tiger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee report.
Councilman Stein.
Budget vote to approve, 10-4, none against.
Councilman Tiger.
Health hospitals approved 4-0. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1326 approves an amendment to a grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Social Services Commission to provide personal care, homemaker, and meal delivery services. Councilman Tiger.
Committee report, please.
Councilman Stein.
Budget 10-4, none against.
Councilman Tiger.
Health hospitals 4-0. Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1327 approves an amendment to a grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Social Services Commission for meal delivery to eligible senior citizens. Councilman Tiger.
Committee report, please.
Councilman Stein.
Budget voted to approve, 10-4, none against.
Councilman Tiger.
Health hospitals approved 4-0. Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1328 approves an amendment to a contract between Vanderbilt University Medical Center and the Metro Board of Health for training of Vanderbilt medical residents in the tuberculosis elimination program. Councilman Tiger.
Committee report.
Councilman Stein.
Budget voted to approve, 10-4, none against.
Councilman Tiger.
Health hospitals approved 4-0. Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1329 approves an amendment to a state grant to the Metro Board of Health to provide rapid HIV testing services. Councilman Tiger.
Committee report.
Councilman Stein.
Budget voted 10-4, none against.
Councilman Tiger.
Health hospitals 4-0 approved. Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1330 accepts a state grant to the Metro Board of Health for the Healthy Start program to provide family support services. Councilman Tiger.
Committee report, please.
Councilman Stein.
Budget voted to approve, 10-4, none against.
Councilman Tiger.
Health hospitals approved 4-0. Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1331 approves an amendment to a federal grant to the Metro Board of Health to achieve established ambient air standards. Councilman Tiger.
Committee report.
Councilman Stein.
Budget voted to approve, 10-4, none against.
Councilman Tiger.
Health hospitals approved 4-0. Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1332 approves a business associate agreement between the Metro Board of Health and Matthew Walker Comprehensive Health Center to provide safeguards to prevent the use or disclosure of protected health information. Councilman Tiger.
Health hospitals approved 4-0. Decided we didn't need budget and finance approval, so I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1333 approves an amendment to a grant from the Tennessee Heritage Conservation Trust Fund to the Metro Board of Parks and Recreation to protect 290 acres in the Beeman to Bells Bend corridor. Councilman Stein.
Committee report.
Councilman Matthews.
Parks voted to pass 4-0.
Councilman Stein.
Budget approved, 10-4, none against. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1334 accepts a grant from the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee to the Metro Parks Department to help replace supplies and equipment depleted in response efforts to the Bellevue Community Center related to the May 2010 flood. Councilman Stein.
Committee report.
Councilman Matthews.
Parks passed 4-0.
Councilman Stein.
Budget approved, 10-4, none against, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2010-1335 authorizes Hospitality Management Advisors, Inc. to install, construct, and maintain an aerial encroachment at 315 4th Avenue North at the Doubletree Hotel. Councilman Tiger.
Committee reports.
Councilman Gatto.
Planning and zoning approved 9-4-0 against.
Councilmember Langster.
Public Works approved 6-0.
Councilman Tiger.
Move approval.
We have a motion and a second. Councilman Holland.
Just want to be marked as abstaining, Vice Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, so noted. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is RS 2010-1336, authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle James Webster's property damage claim against Metro government for $21,435.53. Councilman Stein.
Budget voted to approve, 10-4, none against, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. Councilman Tiger.
Yes, I just wanted to let the council know that I had asked a question to the water department as to what steps had been taken to ensure that these work orders that resulted in this damage claim would not happen in the future, and I did receive a satisfactory answer that safeguards are now in place.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on introduction and first reading. Councilman Jernigan.
I need to pull 709, please.
Okay. Councilmember Page.
Thank you. I need to defer indefinitely 739.
Okay, the first one is BL 2010-709. It amends the Metro Code to modify definitions and regulations pertaining to floodplain development and associated application reviews. Councilman Jernigan.
I want to make a motion to defer this to the first meeting in November.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the deferral? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The deferral motion passes. BL 2010-739 changes .33 acres from OL to SP zoning for property located at 2901 Dabbs Avenue to permit an existing office building to be used as a personal care service use. Councilmember Page.
I'd like to defer indefinitely.
We have a motion for indefinite deferral. Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Indefinite deferral passes. Is there a motion for approval of all other bills? And a second? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on second reading. BL 2009-601 amends the Metro Code to allow parking on both sides of certain narrow streets in the Old Hickory area. Councilman Jernigan.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Have all committees reported?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have an amendment to move, please.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Any discussion on the amendment?
Just what is it?
Is it in your packet? It should be in your packet.
Can you explain it?
The amendment would allow anyone to park on both sides of the street, on these streets, not just those that are disabled.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on the amendment? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Amendment passes. Councilman Jernigan.
I'd like to move the bill as amended, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2010-650, amends the Metro Code to require the Department of Public Works to inform disabled drivers parking at Metro facilities there is no charge for parking their vehicles. Councilmember Gatto.
Committee reports.
Councilman Stanley.
Traffic and Parking voted to defer 4-0.
Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Works voted 6-4-0 against.
Councilmember Stein.
Budget voted to defer 10-4, none against.
Councilman Gatto.
Need to defer one meeting with a brief explanation.
We have a motion and a second. Councilman.
This still has not been to the Traffic and Parking Commission. We do have the details worked out, I believe, but it'll be at that commission next Monday. So it will be ready to pass on second reading, hopefully next meeting. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the deferral, please say aye. Opposed, no. Deferral passes. Next is BL 10-718, repeals the existing solid waste provision in the Metro Code and substitutes them with a new waste management code. Councilmember Stein.
Committee report.
Councilmember Langster.
Committee report 6-4-0 against. There are two amendments, Mr. Cooper. It passed as amended, 6-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilman Stein.
Budget approved, 10-4, none against, as amended, and I would move approval. And now I would move approval of the first amendment, which comes from the administration. And Mr. Cooper, would you walk us briefly through that?
The amendment essentially does two things. First, regarding the backyard pickup, it adds a provision that any evidence of hardship submitted to the Public Works Department, as well as proof of a documented disability, either of those would qualify the individual for the free backyard pickup. It also adds a new chapter to the code dealing with construction and demolition recycling facilities, which is a new use the council created a couple of months ago in the zoning code. And so this adds a specific chapter outlining the application procedures and site plan requirements and everything for those facilities.
I renew the motion to approve the amendment.
We had a motion and a second on the First Amendment. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The First Amendment passes. Councilman Stein.
The Second Amendment was introduced by Councilman Garrett. I will both point to Mr. Cooper for the explanation of the Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment requires that any fee set by the Public Works Department or recommended for increase by the Public Works Department would first have to come back to the council for ratification by resolution.
On behalf of my colleague, Councilman Garrett, I will join him in moving approval of that amendment.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the Second Amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Second Amendment passes.
I would renew the motion for passage with the two amendments.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-726 appropriates $200,000 to the Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau to assist in the post-flood tourism development and promotion efforts in the Music Valley area. Councilman Claiborne.
Committee reports.
Councilman Stein.
Budget approved, 10-4, none against.
Councilman Adkins.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Convention and Tourism Committee voted to approve 5-4 and 1 abstention.
Councilman Claiborne.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. Councilman Adkins.
And I need to abstain from the vote. Thank you.
Okay, so noted. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. 726 passes. BL 2010-727 appropriates fund collected from additional 1% hotel occupancy tax within the Gaylord Tourism Development Zone for the repair of the Grand Ole Opry House. Councilman Claiborne.
Committee reports, please.
Councilman Stein.
Budget approved, 10-4, none against.
Councilman Adkins.
The Convention Tourism Committee voted to approve 6-4 and 2 abstentions.
Councilman Claiborne.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. Councilman Adkins.
I need to abstain from this vote too. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-728 accepts the donation of a Polaris Ranger off-road vehicle from Police Explorers Post 911 to the Metro Police Department. Councilman Stein.
Committee report.
Councilmember Bennett.
Public Safety approved 4 0 against.
Councilman Stein.
Budget approved, 10-4, none against, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-729 adopts the official property identification maps for the identification of real estate for tax assessment purposes. Councilman Gatto.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning approved 9-4-0 against, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-730 approves a license agreement between the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency and Metro Government for the use of space on the Cane Ridge Communications Tower. Councilman Stein.
Committee report.
Councilman Gatto.
Planning and Zoning approved 9-4-0 against.
Councilman Stein.
Budget approved, 10-4, none against. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-731 appropriates an amount not to exceed $200,000 from the unappropriated fund balance of the General Services District to the Department of Water and Sewage Services for the benefit of car washes and plant nurseries that were subject to the mandatory water conservation measures put in place after the May 2010 flood. Councilmember Evans.
I think I have to defer this by rule with a brief explanation.
Got to get committee reports.
Oh, sorry. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Stein.
Budget Committee made no recommendation by a vote of 4-4, 4 against, and 2 not voting.
Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Public Works also, we would like to see the bill, the legislation deferred one meeting. It was with...
Your vote. What was the vote?
The vote was 6-0.
Thank you, ma'am.
Defer one meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Councilmember Evans.
So I need to defer by rule with a quick explanation as to the game plan. A number of representatives from the car wash community were there in Public Works, and we had a good discussion. And one of the things that was clearly and evident, which is unlike every other non-essential water user in Davidson County, like laundromats, hair salons, car washes are actually locked out of their business, and probably have a legitimate and fair concern. The car wash owners expressed dismay that they'd not been able to meet with the administration and talk with them about this issue and their concerns and see if they can be addressed more expeditiously and without a council ordinance. So, Mr. Zygas has agreed to set up a meeting between the industry and the mayor's office, and hopefully they'll be able to work something out that doesn't involve us. If that's not the case, then we can come back and revisit it and solve it here, and I hope for your support at that time. So thank you very much.
We're on the motion for a one-meeting deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The deferral motion passes. BL 2010-659 changes .34 acres from R6 to CS zoning for properties located at 336 Vivalia Avenue and Vivalia Avenue unnumbered east of Nolensville Pike. Councilmember Page.
Thank you. Committee reports.
Councilman Gatto.
Planning and Zoning voted to defer indefinitely 9-4-0 against at the request of the sponsor.
Thank you. Councilmember Page.
I would like to defer indefinitely, and I'll bring this bill back when it can be an approved bill.
Okay, we have a motion for indefinite deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-698 changes .18 acres from RS 7.5 to SP zoning for property located at 4414 West Lawn Drive to permit single-family residential, medical, and general office uses within an existing single-family structure. Councilman Holloman.
Vice Mayor, I believe all the committee reports are in, but I need to move to suspend the rules in order to add an amendment.
Is there any objection to suspension of the rules? Seeing none, Councilman Holloman.
I move the amendment.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Amendment passes. Councilman.
Move the bill as amended.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Thank you.
BL 2010-710 amends the Metro Code pertaining to the location restrictions for the issuance of permits to sell beer within certain areas of the downtown Nashville. Councilman Foster.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I'll be handling this for Councilman Jameson tonight. Move to defer for one meeting with a brief explanation.
Have a motion and a second. Councilman Foster.
Thank you. As I said, the councilman is out this evening. It's his intention to move forward with the bill at the next meeting. One reason I'm speaking tonight, I want to make sure that the members know and that the public understands that at the next meeting, it's Councilman Jameson's intention to bring a motion under Rule 31 to permit the public to speak on this particular issue. This was a matter that I suggested at the last meeting. He was amenable to that, and he wanted to make sure that such notification as we could make through our meeting would go forth. So I would renew my motion.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second for deferral to August 17th. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-711 abandons a 20-foot water and sanitary sewer easement at 5231 and 5215 Old Hickory Boulevard. Councilman Stanley.
Move approval.
A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL BL 2010-712 abandons a 10-foot public utility easement at 915 Otter Creek Road. Councilman McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. On behalf of Councilman Todd, I believe all committee reports are in, so I would move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-713 extends the deadline for the waiver of permit fees when obtaining a permit for repairing or rebuilding property damaged as a result of the May 2010 flooding. Councilman Ryman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Having been approved by all committees, I'll move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-715 amends the Metro Code pertaining to the documentation and storage of vehicles at automobile repair and service establishments. Councilman Jernigan.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move approval, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-719 approves amendments to agreements between Metropolitan Government and the State Department of Environment and Conservation concerning maintenance of closed solid waste facilities. Councilman Stein.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-720 authorizes the Industrial Development Board to accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to LKQ Corporation Keystone Automotive. Councilman Stein.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-721 approves a lease agreement between the State of Tennessee and the Metropolitan Government for the use of portions of the facilities located on the campus of the Tennessee Preparatory School. Councilmember Page. Councilmember Page.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-722 accepts a donation of funds and vehicles to the Metropolitan Government by Volkswagen Group of America, Inc. for the use and benefit of the Department of General Services. Councilman Stein.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-723 authorizes the Metropolitan Government to participate with John Ring to provide public sewer service in Williamson County. Councilman Stein.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2010-724 amends the official street and alley acceptance and maintenance map by abandoning a portion of Lena Bell Avenue and an unnumbered alley. Councilman Forcom.
All committee reports are in. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We are now at memorializing resolutions. RS 2010-1317 requests the mayor and the Metro Board of Parks and Recreation to consider planting a live evergreen tree in the public square park for use as the annual official Metro government Christmas tree. Councilmember Bennett.
Committee reports, please.
Councilman Matthews.
Hello. Parks voted to disapprove, 1 for, 3 against.
Thank you, Councilmember Bennett.
Move for approval with a brief explanation.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Bennett.
Thank you. This is, of course, a memorializing resolution. The purpose for this is for consideration of building or installing a mature Christmas tree, which will facilitate responsible management of green space and just show that the city has really thought through what we do with our trees and our landscaping here to provide us a Christmas tree every year. And I do ask for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. Machine vote, please.
I know, Scrooge.
I have no idea how many people are here. Has everyone voted? No, not everyone.
It's a resolution. I know. I'm sorry.
Madam Clerk,
Ayes 18, noes 9, 3 abstentions.
the memorializing resolution passes. Next is RS 2010-1319, memorializes the council's intent to approve the Tennessee Code section which permits proration of the annual personal property tax assessments of certain personal property affected by a disaster certified by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Councilman Stein.
Move approval with a brief comment.
Councilman Stein.
I rise at the end, and I apologize, folks, but this is actually pretty important. What this does is, in the legislation we passed at the last meeting, we prorated real property taxes, which give a real substantive help to those affected by the flood. Not included in that was prorating personal property. So on first reading, there is an ordinance by which we have to do that as a council to take advantage of the state. That's on first reading, but by September 1, there's a kick-in date. So what this shows the state by this resolution is our intention to pass the ordinance in due course. So this is really a very, very important memorializing resolution because this will be real relief to individuals and businesses affected by the flood. So I ask for your approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Is there a motion to adjourn?